Wrong window.
Damn it. Take two.
Hey, what are you doing? Let's go see Stu Herrera. Off we go.
What time do they need it? Yeah. Sure, I can get it to him. I can do it from my bike. I will. Okay. All right. Thanks, Mel. Hey, let's go into my studio. Hi, this is Stu Herrera. This is Stu Herrera. I'm Stu Herrera, and this is my take. That was exactly what you didn't want.
Tell us a little bit about your home studio. Describe your space.
Oh, yeah.
And what's your favorite part?
So my home studio is, it's probably a little overbuilt for VO. I had a pretty big space, and so I put some furniture in there, and there's a separate permanent ISO booth with floated walls and floated floor and stuff. There's a mic patch bay there. There's a lot of guitars and music making stuff in that studio too, although I sadly don't take advantage as often as I thought I was going to. But when you get down to just the VO part, of the studio, it's pretty simple really. There's an Avalon 737, there's a Pro Tools rig, there's a U87, or I have a Sennheiser that needs service. Yeah, that's the core of it. Is everything else is sort of like bells and whistles. I even have a DAT player in there. So, I don't know. At this point, it's come around full circle, so it's just like this oddity. I'm waiting for at some point people are going to go, what is that thing? Because people still recognize, oh my God, you have a DAT player? Yeah, but soon it's going to be, what is that thing with the big knob on it? What would you, well, once upon a time there was DAT tapes, and we used to record on them and send them out. Yeah.
I used to cut tape when I first started at Sutton Barth Menor. I used to cut tape, and then we moved to DAT players.
Yeah. I remember when we finally got rid of the reel-to-reels at the radio station, but I was cutting tape all day, every day. I suppose I'm still good at it. But you can't
like riding a bike?
Yeah. It's like riding a bike. Just like, woo! Like, okay.
An office space.
Pavilion is no more, is it? I did a lot of good Christmas shopping in there once upon a time.
I know, and that Tom Petty video was there. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
Was it
She's
shot
good
Clueless
girl.
in there?
Right?
Coming down all those escalators. Yeah.
Was it free falling?
Yeah, it was free falling.
Yeah, I used to park on the roof and
come down that very escalator.
Yeah. My favorite aspect in voiceover, it'd be tough to nail down one particular little thing about it, because I absolutely love it. I love the whole process of auditioning, as weird as that may sound. I love it if I'm directing myself. I love it if I'm being directed with somebody else and throwing the ball back and forth. That's a great time. Unfortunately, probably a lot of us don't get to do that as often as we used to. I sure love getting the call that I booked a job. That's okay. And the process, doing the job itself, especially when you get to go on site and meet people and see their studios, and I absolutely love it. And you're with them for such a short period of time. Everybody's got their best face on, and it's almost always just a really pleasant party. Not party, sometimes. But yeah, just, and at the end of the day, they're happy. You make them look good. You look good. You see the end product. That looks great. Maybe you get some phone calls or some texts from people. Hey, are you on that new Toyota campaign? Yeah. Light goes on. Download Hotel Tonight now. Download Hotel Tonight now. Download Hotel Tonight now. Do it now. You know what? I was trying to do a lead in. You know what? Plans change. The weather changes. Your mood definitely changes. So why lock yourself into plans that might change? Download Hotel Tonight now. Well, my favorite color is kind of like plaid. I don't want to commit to any one color because I like them all. And a Tuesday, anyway.
Perfect.
So my voiceover career, at least I think of my voiceover career as starting when I got my first proper voiceover jobs, as opposed to like the radio career that I'd had before that. So that was 1998 for Paramount Pictures a movie called Dead Man on Campus, and shortly thereafter I signed with Sutton Barth Benari, and my voiceover career more or less started in '98.
Tell us about your voiceover agent, Sutton Barth Benari, because it's extraordinary. You've been there with them the whole time.
I've had such a long and fruitful career with them, and I've just never really wanted to go anywhere else. I mean, I checked around town with a few different agents before I, met with them and signed with them, and they were the only ones that, I don't know, the feeling was right, the conversations were all good, they were really genuine and supportive and interested in me, and I kind of never seen any reason to leave.
You met Debbie Cope there.
I did. I met Debbie Cope through SBV, and she made a couple of gestures to me like, hey, I'd like to take you on sometime. And I was with Paul Whitner for a long time before I got with Debbie. And then when my relationship with Paul ended, I wasn't super, I wasn't dying to get with another manager right away. But it's worked out really well. I love Debbie. Rita and Mary Ellen said, you can trust Debbie. She's good people, and it's probably a pretty good move for you. And it has been.
So do you record the imaging that you do right in here?
Well, yeah. The imaging that I do on KLOS is a combination of my voice, Rachel McGrath, and Brian Christopher down in Florida. Rachel's in Atlanta. And so, they send me files. I send them writing. They send me files. I will augment what they do with me, or sometimes not, or sometimes it'll be all me, or it just kind of depends on what I've written, how it feels. Maybe it's a 2 or a 3 character kind of thing, or maybe we just sort of trade announcer lines back and forth. It could be any number of different things, but it's great to have the flexibility of the 3 of us to play off each other.
Talent either seems to come from the radio world or it comes from the acting world, right?
Sure.
There's like different types of voiceovers that come that way, but it's just great that you've maintained this and have this amazing job as well as a really fantastic voiceover career.
Well, this job is I have to pinch myself. This job at KLOS allows me the latitude to have fun, goof around doing imaging for the radio station. And sometimes I don't even use VO. Sometimes it's just like a collage of music or sound effects or, drops that I find from television and movies and stuff, or some combination of all of that. But at the same time, I'm here in front of a microphone all day, every day. And when I do, the radio thing, that's that thing. When it's time for a VO audition or a VO job that I might, do from here, radio guy goes away, although radio guy isn't really radio guy anymore anyway, but radio guy, in whatever guise that is, goes away, and whatever the demands of the script or the audition or the job are, that's front and center, and that's what we do. That's what I do. And just to be in this environment all day, every day for as long as I've been, which is 24 years here now, is, it's constant training all the time, every day. Like, I'd like to think that my edge stays as sharp as possible, all the time. I don't always have someone to bounce stuff off of, feedback, but regardless, I'm still, I still have an ear, and I kind of know, I think, what, what's a good take, what needs to be tweaked, and so forth. So, this is fantastic.
What does that kind of equate to in your mind? I mean, how do you do that? Because some people can't seem to leave that behind.
I'm not sure what my real method is. I don't change clothes or do anything crazy. But when you look at what the specs are for a given project, that's your focus, and that's what takes over. And you have to go into that space as an actor and go, okay, what does this sound like, or what does this feel like? And you've got to remember that there's a person on the other end of this thing that's going to be listening to you and trying to decide if you're the right fit. And you can do as great a job as you can. Who knows what those variables are? All you can do is do the your best you.
But no, see, you have a very accessible voice. It doesn't feel like sometimes when you have like a radio DJ sound going on or something like that, it's kind of like it's not as accessible. You know what I mean?
That radio DJ sound has kind of become this caricature of itself. I mean, when you listen to, some guys, especially from years past, I mean, it's so goofy and so put on, and it doesn't really work anymore in this world today. You still get that as a direction from time to time because they want that as this sort of, the iconic radio DJ. Okay, well, you've turned in your caller 12. You're welcome to, you've won the big prize, whatever it is. And, it really is, it's an artifact of something that used to kind of exist. And it's, like I said, it's a caricature of itself now. And yeah, that's a thing. That's a direction. I can't live there unless if I'm parodying it, then fine, that's a thing, but like to actually do that, who's doing that? Not me. Headphones on or headphones off? I vacillate. Sometimes the situation mandates, of course, that you wear headphones. Although I guess you can take them off when you do the take. I like to be comfortable either way. I don't think that my read varies drastically one way or the other. It shouldn't, and so I try to be equally comfortable, in both scenarios. My default setting probably is headphones on, but just as often I'm likely to just take them off. Or sometimes once in a while, because I'm sometimes scatterbrained, I'll forget to put them on. I'll start my, obviously when I'm directing myself, I'll start the recorder and start going. I'm like, oh, I'm not wearing headphones. Good hair day. What you might know my voice from? Well, I'm on SoCal Toyota Dealers campaign. I was also on another big one in the spring for the Olympics. This one is sort of like the 4th of July Independence Day kind of vibe. I'm on an Oregon campaign. I'm on KLOS, obviously. If you go to Vegas, I'm on 97.1 in Las Vegas. For years, I was the voice of Fox Sports Net, and I did a lot for Fox Sports, Soccer Channel, college sports, CBS, you'd know me from Big Brother and all kinds of different specialty campaigns, Grammy Awards and CMA shows.
You enjoy a challenge. So kind of tied into what you do to stay in shape and challenges, how do you give back as a person?
So a few years ago, I had a good friend, and his mom has arthritis, and he said he was going to pedal his bike from San Francisco to LA for the Arthritis Foundation. It's a fundraising campaign, and I'd heard of these before. The AIDS ride is another big one, and it just sounded crazy to me. And I mean, I've been pedaling a bicycle since, forever, since I was a little kid. And I love pedaling, but that just sounded like really, really nuts to me. So I went to the finish line at the end of that week to, cheer him across the line. And as I'm watching all the people come across, old, young, big, small, overweight, underweight, I was just looking at this motley crew. And right then I'm like, I can do this. I have no idea what's involved, but if all these folks are doing it, I'm sure I can do it. So that was 2011, my first year of doing the Arthritis Foundation. The California Coast Classic is what it's called. And I love doing that every year. There is some training involved. You just kind of condition yourself to be on a bicycle all day. There isn't anything super difficult in terms of that training, although the first few days of the ride can be trying. But it's a great cause. It's a great ride. It's like summer camp for grown-ups almost, although there are kids that are on the thing too. If you can't hack it, like there's a van that'll pick you up and take you to camp if you need, or just to the next rest stop or whatever. Like you can really do it. However, EFI, every effing inch is my motto. So I pedal the whole thing. And it does present challenges when you have to work and you've got to, have gear, set it up in a hotel room. And I've done everything from talking under pillows in the beds to setting stuff up in the closet. Making your own booth when you're on the road is always an adventure. And that is bigger. That is a bigger challenge than doing the ride, actually.
I totally believe that.
Yeah.
That can get stressful.
especially when you have to connect live, if you just have to send files, it's not that big deal. But if you have to connect live with a client from a hotel that that's may or may not have, decent upload, download speeds, you have no idea. You've got to do a lot of pre-planning, calling ahead and getting a hold of their, engineering staff. What are your upload speeds? What are your download speeds? I've been fortunate that the past few rides I've only had to upload files and not have to, connect. But you never know. You got to be ready.
All right, here's a super fun question.
Okay.
Okay, Francesco wants to know, what is your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oh. Well, I love so much food. It'd be a lot easier to tell you what I don't like, what food I don't like. I can't even think of what food I don't like parsnips. I won't eat them. And I eat everything from gross sardines in the can, which is kind of like what I've been doing this week on the radio, and it's a dumb little subplot. Because it really freaks everybody else out when you crack open a can of sardines and start eating them. And 99% of everybody just leaves the room and is mad. It's like I'm eating, motor oil or something. It's like, it's good for you. It's actual food. They sell it at the supermarket. So, but my favorite foods right now that come to mind are Low Key Tacos, which is this little taco shop that's right down the street here in Culver City, LOQUI. Oh, their mushroom on flour. Look out. And also, I'm really into sweet greens right now. I don't like tender greens, but I love sweet greens. The Hollywood Bowl kills. It's so good. Get extra chicken.
Oh, wow. This is great advice. We should have talked about food sooner.
Oh, I can go on about food. It's not about me, so I can...
You're going to look right at the camera.
Or should I lean back? Hi, Sarah! My take.